Okay, so this is going to be round 2 for all the decks on DE since there's been some deck updates. Not all decks have been updated, but I will still show all of them so you don't actually have to scroll back to the old version. As always, we start with British. So this is my no-net deck. I think it hasn't changed in years, but yeah, you have the cowing cards, you have all the military upgrades, the eco cards, church card, Cherokee as overpop, and rockets as your infinite shipment. There's been some fighting around the rockets, but I think they're still better than, I don't know, outposts, better than mortars, so rockets just stay the best card. There's deck versions where you could use this card, so you can train like estates, so you can train villagers from houses. That would be good if you plan on vill deleting against your opponent, because it allows you to retrain your villagers quickly. So you drop cap attack for that. Or you could try to go for some grenadier plays with that card and this one. Not a thing I recommend, but in that case just take out, I don't know, longbow range and cap attack. Yeah. And in a native deck, I use the native card and the wood trade because most natives cost wood, a lot of it, and so wood trading is worth it, especially since your teammates will also be happy to have more wood to chop in most cases. So what you drop is cap attack again because it's the most irrelevant card, and unfortunately musk attack, but in natives usually don't use as many musketeers anyway, rather longbows and cav and, well, the natives. Water, I'm not really gonna cover anymore because there's no water maps left in the ranked map pool, so we're gonna skip that. Chinese. Okay, so this is my no-net deck. Chinese is very hungry for wood, so I use a wood card. I use the artillery cards. I miss artillery HP, but it doesn't really matter for hand mortars. 15% of 1 HP is not really relevant if you get that. We still use Old Hand. Old Hand is still much better than whatever the other army is called. Territorial army. Yeah, screw that one. Other than that, I don't think anything has changed. The native deck, the only difference is that I use, well, the native cards, these two, and I drop artillery attack and the Kashik multiplier, I think, against cavalry, which is because most natives are anti-cap themselves, so you will not rely on Kashiks as much. Yeah, you kind of have to pause, I think, when I look at the decks in case I'm too quick. So Inca, a little bit has changed on my end. So basically you always want to use this deck, because even when you're not natives, you have your own natives. So you always want to have cheaper nats, and this also hires the build limit. So what I changed is I don't use the bowlers anymore. Simple reason, it only hires, I mean the bowler card, it only hires the melee multiplier against cav, and I barely even make bowlers at all. Instead I put in another native shipment. There's a couple of different ones, you can check which one you prefer. I like these guys. And then I use Chasky. I don't think I did that in my last video. The Chasky card is just quite crazy because Chasky become a very strong unit with that. Basically comparable to a Aztec Coyote, but with a lot higher attack, so always worth to train 10 of them. Swedes, yeah, there's been so many Swede stacks running around. I've made a Sweden boom guide with covering the decks as well, but we'll cover them again here. So there's two things you want to look at. One, the no-net and native tree deck, which means you feature the tree card, and both these decks without the tree card. So the tree card itself is super strong, so if you have a lot of trees on your side, use it, and you're gonna boom a lot higher. Sweden can definitely hit 25 plus at the moment. I use the blackberries, I use infinite mines in relation with the faster mining card for the torps. It's a good combination for late game. I just still need to fix my hotkeys to place the mines. In natives, what do I drop? Oh yeah, I just dropped the H3 Hus HP. This one. For cheaper natives. Yeah, and the reason why you could not use that card, but instead would use Team Artillery HP, train speed, not HP, would be if you have like wood heavy civs like Inca on your team and you barely have trees, and you know your torps are just gonna stand around doing nothing anyway because there's no trees left. Then you may as well just use another card. You can basically scout in the beginning of a game if you feel like there's enough trees. Use it, and otherwise don't. Dodge. I don't think a single thing has changed for dodge. In my native deck, I use a wood card and not a trade, so I send the food cards. Reason is, if I do the no-nat boom and trade, I'm gonna be very coin heavy distributed, but natives cost food, so you want to be more food distributed, and in that case you just gather wood with the card, and in no-nats you trade. French. Yeah, so here I've changed a couple of things. So in my native deck, I dropped the wood trickle, actually in both decks. Replace it with a couple of coin cards in my native decks. I have 2 of them now. I dropped church card, it's just not worth it compared to other cards in my opinion. Still very all in. I have all the military cards that are important. Yeah, I don't really think I have to say much to see what's happening here. And then no nats, well, you have space for all the coin cards here, so you use them. Skirm HP as well. It's just, this is like a complete deck. Germans, there's really nothing that has changed here, so you just have your native deck and your no native deck. Only difference is you drop a top card for cheaper natives. Explorer card is still good, the dog is still a strong unit. Explorer building fast is also fantastic. Can make a team version of it where you have, oh no, not that one, but where you have team settler wagons. Yeah, you just drop another DOP card for that, and that's because most of the time you won't really use many DOPs unless you do a DOP game where you use all the DOP cards. But yeah, that's rather troll than a serious approach. India, I don't think anything has changed here either. Yeah, it's the same deck I've been using forever. Could always argue you could use the coin cards more. I feel like I never ever drain on coin with India, so the games always end earlier. I don't use them anymore, I just have this one for I don't know what reason. I don't even send it in my boom. But yeah. I don't use any infinite native shipments because I think 1, they just suck. 2, I want to be sending the wood. 3, when I run, they're not useful, and the Rumi is just trash. It's just trash. So yeah. Japan? I don't think anything is, well, I don't know, maybe. So, this is my no-nat deck. I dropped the H1 5% eco card for the wood card because you actually need a lot of wood in natives. Well, in natives as well, but in no-nat as well. If you want to go for Yumi Flaming Arrow and don't have a third trade mate, in that I just switch out a daimyo and another one of the paddy cards and put in the native cards. Can't really drop coin cards, they're too important after all, but could maybe argue taking out 1 coin card for a paddy. Well, it's up to oneself. Yeah, and then Busted still works, obviously. If you have a third trade made, how to motor trade, a consulate instead of wood, all the paddy cards, no Yumi, and yeah, going in. Auto, I'm back to not using TC wagons anymore. So using the extra TCs is fun for the boom and can be fun for build elites, but most of the time the more effective strat with auto is not to lead builds with the low boom, but just to run around and I don't think you actually need 7 TCs to do so. So instead I just play it out normally. Just make sure that you don't have the tower card in your deck anymore, because there was a bug when they fixed it back. So when you would go into a game, it wouldn't display this right coin card anymore, because it was basically on this slot, and that doesn't display in game. So make sure you take out the tower card, otherwise your decks will suck. Ports, yeah, nothing changed here. Native, no native. Yeah, but now I use 300 rest crates again with them. Simple reason, you could use 2 corps, 2 mortars, you could use 10 masks, 3 good shipments. I don't send them. I send them once, I send them twice, I don't send them constantly. Sometimes I forget, sometimes it's just not the right moment. Either way, I always stack a bunch of shipments if I don't send any like res crates, so by now I'm just back to sending res, and I don't care what anyone says. For me personally, it's the best, and if you feel like you're super good at sending other shipments, and nothing wrong with that either. Russia, yeah, so that's the native Russia deck. You could argue you could take out that card, to be fair. I don't even know why it's in here. It just doesn't really matter, does it? Yeah, I don't think it does. May as well just put in, I don't know, Strelin HP. And then the 1v1, no, forget what I just said. In a no-nat, well, you will find this annoying card, which makes explorers build forts and especially blockhouses. And, well, the Nutka are nice to push with when there's no natives blocking them. But yeah, that hasn't really changed either. Spain, there's only really one deck to look at, it's the native deck. I don't even have a no native deck, there's just no point. Spain always uses natives regardless. So yeah, use 300 rest because of the 900 food option and Spanish goals, so that becomes like 1,100 crates. I don't even think this has changed. Aztec, I can't recommend to play them, but if you do, this is a reasonable deck. Yeah, this is just horrible, but yeah. I don't think much has changed here. I just use team natives now, so my team at least has something good about me playing this dumb Civ. Native, nah, I just wouldn't go natives with the Civ, so ignore the fact that there is a native deck. It's just irrelevant. Yeah, Howda. I still don't know how to pronounce him, so whatever. Yeah, that's just a native deck to look at, to be honest, again. So what I use is I use all the calf cards, all the coin cards, because it always goes late game. You could argue, where is it? Why not the construction card, or why not Warhead Limit? Why not more natives? Why not this one? Mantlet HP. They're all good cards, it's just, I don't know. I guess take out cavalry HP, maybe put in more natives. Works. Can also take, no, actually no. I think you need cav attack because otherwise your musket riders just suck, so this is probably the deck I'd use right now. But it hasn't really changed either. And then Lakota. Yeah, so you send the Bisons as your infinite card, you have these really nice native shipments. All the eco cards. No rifle riders, because they're just underperforming. Skirms are better against heavy infantry, and bow riders are better against cavalry, so I make those units. I didn't even know that I had this actually. Should use that one. What do I take out for that? Yes, these guys. Because there's just no point in having the handicap natives when you have your natives yourself. But yeah, that would be it. That's the decks. Feel free to copy.